G'day guys, Footy Gods back for another preview in our backline. Today we're looking at Ed Richards from the Western Bulldogs. Now you're probably thinking, why Ed Richards? What are you guys doing? But there's a bit more to this pick than you'd think. So pretty highly rated pick. Doggies took him with their first round pick in 2017. So he comes with a bit of pedigree in terms of his junior career and talent. So let's look at our formula and see if we can find a reason for him to get in our team. So scoring pedigree. So it's hard to say, again, not really much scoring pedigree here. But the interesting thing with Ed Richards is we got to look closer into his 2022 season to see if he's got scoring pedigree. So later in the season, when he did get that license to be a bit more of a ball user, roamer off half back, look at his last 6 games of the year. Really impressive. And actually, let's look at his finals campaign too. Okay, not very good in the elimination final, but no one from the Doggies was good that night. But have a look at his last 6 games of the year. 114, 126, 112, 97, 106, 113. Super impressive. And this isn't a fluke. There's reasons for it. He's getting 20 plus touches a game, taking 7 to 10 marks, and racking up the points. So in terms of his scoring pedigree, it's not there, but there's potential. We've seen the pedigree in the back half of the year. So his ceiling, what's his ceiling like? 126, not a huge ceiling. So he's had the 1-2 scores over 120. So we can't really give him a tick on his ceiling just yet, but maybe it's a watch this space. Consistency, again, if we're looking at consistency when he was playing the role that we want him to play, super consistent. 97 plus every time in the 6 games. So again, there's signs. There is signs there. We can't give him a tick, but there's big signs on his consistency. Pretty good floor if he gets that role. So trending upwards, we can say he was trending upwards slightly. At the back half of the year when he got that role, the trend was going upwards. He's in that perfect age demographic, or even young. He's quite young, 23. So he's in a really good age demographic to be able to have a breakout season this year. Tick. We're not going to pick him for a VC or a C. That's okay. Job security, best 20. Is he best 22? I would say so, but who knows with the Bulldogs. So that was last year was really only his first year since his debut season that he played every game, and even last year he did miss a game. It looks like. No, he didn't. Okay. 21 games. Okay. How's that make sense? Oh yeah, he did miss a game. Sorry, yep. Against Brisbane. So he missed the 1 game. So yeah, I would give him a tick. He should be a lock in the best 22, but we're not completely sure yet. We'll have to wait and see what the back line looks like. Injury history, let's look through 2021. What was his 2021 injury? I don't know. You guys might know more than me on this one. Frustrating. Broke his ankle. Okay, yeah, that'll do it. In a VFL practice match, so pre-season. Yep. So not crazy. Obviously ankle injuries aren't ideal, but he bounced back pretty well from that last year. So he gets a tick there. No real problems. The role is the one that we got to keep an eye on. This is a big one. If he gets the role that he was playing here, then could be a great pick. He's averaging like 115 here. So it could be a great pick, but we got to keep an eye on it. What does it look like with Bailey Dale, Caleb Daniel, these sort of guys in the back line? What's his role look like? That's probably the biggest one for me. And coaching, Luke Beveridge is a frustrating SuperCoach coach at the best of times. So we've got to maybe just think about that. What does he plan on doing with Ed Richards? Who knows? I wouldn't put it past him to put him as sub. You just don't know. Value, there's value there. So he's 460k, priced at 84. So we know, based on that, we know there's value here. if he can pull off what he did last year, at the back end of last year, and get the right role, there's potentially 10 to 15 points value. So really good value there. Is he a keeper? That's probably a bit of a question mark. I think if he has a decent year, he probably averages 90 to 95. Does that make him a keeper? Probably not. Borderline. And if you're paying 460k, you really don't want to have to move that on. So it's a bit of a tough one, bit of an awkward price in terms of being a keeper. Again, it's an awkward for our team structure too. Where does he fit into our team structure? Is he a D2? Doesn't feel great. D3, it's a lot to spend for a D3. So we've got to sort of make a decision there. What does our defensive structure look like if we do include Ed Richards in our team? Risk reward. So there's a lot to think about here. Huge risk reward pick. So 1% of coaches own him. So basically no one owns him. And if you decide to take the risk on him, obviously we're putting ourselves out there big time. If he fails, then we're alone in the boat of failure. But if he pays off, and if he pulls off what he did last year, we can get a huge reward out of it. So big risk, but also big reward due to his ownership and potential. So that's a big one for me. Risk reward pick for sure. And you need a couple of those in your team. Doggies fixture. Let's have a look. 2023. Yeah, not bad. Melbourne Saints, Brisbane, Richmond, Port, Freo, Hawthorn. So not an easy draw. Not a terrible draw, but not easy. Freo away, Port away, Melbourne, Richmond, Brisbane at home. So I would put that as a tough draw. Tough draw. Not going to get tagged. That's fine. What are his strengths? So he's lightning fast. That's a great strength. And he's a pretty good ball user. Silky left foot. Actually in the Hayden Young sort of mold. Can he run out games? Can he run out all 23 games this year? So they're the sort of question marks. But lightning fast, silky ball user, big strength. Owner history, I don't think there'd be a lot of history with coaches here. Hasn't really been too relevant in our teams up until this point. Ownership, so we mentioned that 1% of teams. So yeah, huge pod. And the Doggies, that's a tick. Doggies play a good brand of footy off halfback, Bailey Dale and the likes. Pretty good ball users, so you'd expect him to find the footy with no worries at all. So let's weigh that all up. So gut feel on this pick. So let's go through. It's a big risk reward pick. Can he add 10 to 15 points on his average? That's what he's going to need to do to make him worthwhile at this price, 460k. It's getting up towards primo sort of price. So can he do that? I think if he gets the role, I mean, we know if he gets the role, we know he can. If he gets the role here, we know he can. So that's a big one for me. You've got to keep an eye on him in the preseason and see what it looks like. If he's getting that run and dash, if he's getting that ball use out of half back, then happy days. I think we can actually afford to take a punt on him at this price, but we have to wait and see because he's got pretty good potential here. These are all pretty good. But the big one's that one. So, and the ownership as well. 1% of teams just makes it such a risky pick. So we got to monitor him in the preseason. Not a lot of meat on the bone unless he gets that real juicy role. So one to think about, one to put on our watch list, and one to consider if we're looking for a cheaper option in the back line. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. Let us know what you want to see next. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.